Out of nowhere, Sicario arrived in 2015 and unexpectedly ignited a franchise. The film follows an idealistic FBI agent recruited by a covert government task force to combat the escalating drug war at the U.S.-Mexico border. It received critical acclaim, performed well at the box office, and earned 3 Oscar nominations for Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, and Best Sound Editing. Its intense 2018 sequel, Sicario, Day of the Soldado, escalates the conflict further as cartels begin smuggling terrorists across the border. To counter this, federal agent Matt once again teams up with the enigmatic Alejandro. But will they reunite for a third film? The third installment, reportedly the final chapter of what producers are calling an anthology trilogy, is still happening. There has been significant speculation about who will return for Sicario 3, also referred to as Sicario, capos, both in front of and behind the camera. Clues have been there all along, hidden within the previous films. Like its predecessors, Sicario 2 delves deep into the complexities of the drug war, exposing its moral failures and the blurred line between good and evil. While it delivers intense and brutal moments, its ending introduces unexpected twists, leaving lingering questions that are both thought-provoking and unsettling. Taking a step back to analyze the finale can provide insight into what it all truly means and what it might hint at for the future. One of the most striking moments: why does Matt spare Isabella? Throughout Sicario 2X, Matt is a calculated and ruthless CIA operative. But at a pivotal moment, he does something completely unexpected. He lets Isabella live. This move is surprising, considering his usual lack of mercy. When Alejandro activates his tracking beacon, hoping for rescue, it backfires, putting both him and Isabella in danger. Matt is ordered to eliminate them both. Originally, Emily Blunt's Kate Mercer was meant to return, but screenwriter Taylor Sheridan and director Stefano Sollima couldn't find a place for her in the sequel's narrative. Meanwhile, Alejandro's situation grows dire. Disguised as a migrant, he is recognized by a smuggler and dragged into the desert, where he is shot in the head. This moment is bittersweet for Matt. On one hand, he is relieved that he didn't have to kill Alejandro himself, given their history. On the other, Alejandro's death weighs heavily on him, adding another layer to his already complicated character. The final shot of Matt reveals his internal conflict. He is torn between following orders and allowing Isabella to live. Alejandro's apparent death shakes him, and that guilt influences his decision to spare her, even though it contradicts everything he has stood for. It's a rare act of mercy, a stark contrast to the cold, pragmatic figure seen throughout the Sicario films. Matt has always justified brutality as a necessity, yet when he witnesses the same ruthlessness reflected back at him, it forces a moment of hesitation, one that might change everything. Isabella's journey in Sicario 2 is a compelling example of collateral damage in the drug war. Initially introduced as a rebellious teen, she quickly realizes the fragility of her privileged life. When her kingpin father's protection disappears, she is left vulnerable, navigating a world far more dangerous than she ever imagined. Her time with Alejandro exposes her to the brutal reality of her father's empire and the U.S. government's involvement in the conflict. At the end of Sicario 2, Matt promises to place Isabella in witness protection. His decision to spare her signifies a shift in his character, yet it also highlights how powerless she truly is. Throughout the film, she is treated as little more than a pawn, moved and manipulated, much like the immigrants caught up in cartel operations. Her role as an individual stuck between two warring forces could set up intriguing possibilities for Sicario 3. Beyond this, Sicario 2, Day of the Soldado, also explores the consequences of secrecy in warfare. The first film focused on the murky legality of covert CIA operations, where Emily Blunt's Kate Mercer was only involved because her status as an FBI agent provided legal cover. With her absence in the sequel, the focus shifts. What happens when these hidden methods are exposed to the world? The film reinforces Kate's warning from Sicario, showing how unstable and reckless these operations become when they spiral out of control. Day of the Soldado explores the disastrous fallout of the U.S. government's secret attempts to manipulate cartel power. What begins as an effort to destabilize criminal networks turns into a mission gone wrong, leading to public exposure. The president loses faith in the operation, and everything collapses, exposing just how fragile this approach is when accountability comes into play. The first, Sicario, examined the moral ambiguity of these tactics. The sequel highlights what happens when they fail. If Denis Villeneuve returns for Sicario 3, it would be fascinating to see how he addresses the consequences of this unraveling war. And then there's the question that demands an answer. How did Alejandro survive, and is he a changed man? The shocking moment in Sicario 2's ending occurs when Miguel, the young smuggler, seemingly shoots Alejandro in the head. But it turns out that Miguel aimed lower, hitting Alejandro's jaw instead. Throughout Day of the Soldado, Alejandro begins questioning his actions. In the first Sicario, his mission was clear: avenge his family's murder at the hands of Fausto Alarcón. But the way he executed his revenge, slaughtering Alarcón's family, was chilling. By the sequel's end, Alejandro seems to be confronting whether he has become the very kind of monster he once hunted. With the CIA believing him dead, Alejandro is now completely off the grid, free to operate without oversight. Then, in the film's final scene, a year later, Miguel has fully embraced the cartel lifestyle: tattoos, a hardened demeanor, a new identity. Alejandro tracks him down and delivers a cryptic question: "You want to be a Sicario?" before shutting the door. The implications are chilling. Is Alejandro training a successor? Does he see himself in Miguel, someone who can maneuver within the cartel's shadowy world while challenging the system from within? The ending offers no clear answer, only an unsettling possibility. With everything set in motion, the groundwork for Sicario 3 is already in place. The next installment could explore powerful ideological conflicts, Alejandro's rogue mission, Matt's evolving morality, and the potential return of Kate Mercer. If Emily Blunt reprises her role, the third film could bring her character full circle, forcing a confrontation with both Matt and Alejandro. Three distinct philosophies are at play: Kate's idealistic approach, Matt's government-backed pragmatism, and Alejandro's lawless, revenge-driven path. The result could be a layered, explosive narrative, one that brings Sicario to a dramatic conclusion. The pieces are set. Now the only question is, how will it all end? Let's talk about it in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Sicario 3 and other upcoming films. More to come soon.